it's Elissa with the Art Studio. Today I'll be demonstrating how I painted this fish in acrylics. Here I have the outline of my fish, and my next step is to paint it white. The reason I do this is because Liquitex Basics are a very transparent paint, meaning that the colors under them will show through. So if there's blue under the orange, that obviously is not a good combination, so I just paint it all white. The next thing I'm going to do here is pull in some purples with my white, and this created a nice effect. For one, white is reflective. It'll pick up the colors that are around it. Obviously, there is not purple in this background, but I did like the effect of having purple in it. It looked cool. It gave me a stylized effect, and later I do pull in some more teals of the background to make the fish look like it's actually swimming in water with that color reflecting on it, but the purple looked good with it too. And that's another thing. Sometimes it's fun to just play around with colors and add colors that are not technically right, that aren't in your background or your reference photo. This can make your art better, more interesting to look at. Obviously, if you are going for more strict photorealism, you're probably going to want to just stick to what your reference photo is. So here I keep layering on purples and whites, getting it as smooth as I can, because this layer is going to show in the final piece, so I want to make sure that's nice and smooth. So here I have my outline, and I'm going to start by painting the stripes that are going to be orange white, like I did with the fish in the beginning. This way, when I paint the orange on, no purple will be showing through. Taking the time to stay in those lines and get the white nicely painted on, get a couple layers of that. And now I'm getting my first layer of orange down. This is a very yellow color, but I can always darken it, and I can always change that color. Just paint over it if it's not the right tone, or if it's not smooth, brush strokes are showing, whatever. But just for the first layers, even just getting paint on there, that's as good a start as any, because once you've got the paint on there, then you can go on top of it and get more and more layers on there to get it to look how you want. Just blending out this and adding some darker colors. This was the main step in this piece that really took on a lot of layers. Just blending it out, putting in more color, different shading, took a lot of layers on the orange stripes. So here I'm on to my next layer of detail, which are these black lines. I didn't paint these solid black, and there's a couple reasons for that. One, black, like white, is also reflective, so it'll pick up different colors, so we generally don't see it as solid black. The other reason is that if I want a part of my piece to really pop, and I want to make it solid black, like, for instance, the pupil of this fish, if I have that black, dark, and that's the only time I use straight black, it'll really pop because the rest of it is not straight black. It's other colors too. Got some work on the eye there. And touching up some details around the fish. I'm adding some additional shading here, getting some more details in. Here I'm starting on a couple of the fins. I used a watered down white paint for both of the fins. Now I'm getting that spot in and some additional details. That fin on the very bottom of the fish under the tail fin, that took me so many tries. I just went over and over that, and finally off camera I got it to where it looked good. So the final picture of this is where it looked good, but I didn't catch on camera how I fixed it. Here is where I'm adding in that teal shading under the body and the sheen of white reflecting on top to make it look wet and shiny. That back fin. Could not get that to look right. Now at this point, it's a good time to look at the picture and look for things that could be better, if maybe brighter highlight, darker shadows. Just pay attention to that reference photo for the final details. Now here I'm adding in the bubbles. The bubbles are a really fun part of this because they don't need to be perfect. It's pretty easy to get them realistic enough. And here I also take a paintbrush with white paint and I flick it onto the canvas. This gives the idea of different particles floating around in the water and also distant bubbles. Just adds some dimension, and there is the finished piece. Thanks for watching.